Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Moose and today we're going to be doing a meta tier list post the May 2022 ban list. Now I've already uploaded my ban list reaction where I actually live reacted to the ban list just after it got released, so check that out if you haven't already after this video. But now we're going to be talking about something a little bit more specific. Because this ban list has been put into effect immediately, and we have YCSs and state championships coming up all over in the next few weeks, there are going to be some immediate meta shifts. Some decks are undeniably going to be winners from this, and some decks are not going to do as well, and may even drop out of the meta because of the hits they took on the ban list. So, without further ado, let's get into the tier list, and make sure to leave a like, leave a comment down below telling me what you think of the tier list and what would you have changed, and make sure to subscribe for more content like this. So let's get into my meta tier list for this post-ban list May 2022 format. Now, bear in mind I'm not including Dimension Force except for very specific cards, like Beyond the Pendulum, like, you know, the Albaz Strike Fusion, and for the Albaz Trap. Other than that, I'm not really including the impact of Dimension Force, which we'll see unravel itself as the set gets released. For now, we're talking about the decks we've already got, and what is going to happen to them. So, let's get into it. Starting off with Despia, right? Despia took absolutely zero hits here, let's be honest. Verte was kind of a hit, I guess, but to be honest, you don't really need Verte in a pure Despia branded build. And honestly, you can just use that extra space for Dark and Liner, so you're not really losing anything, you may actually be gaining something there. So I'm still going to put Despia as, you know, tier 1 in this format. I think Despia has the potential to be the best deck of this format. We'll see how it goes, but for now, that's my initial impression. Then Pendulum, you know, there's Beyond the Pendulum's coming out, Monkey Board's come back, there's some great stuff you can actually do with the deck, but I don't know if it's going to be as consistent as some of the other decks, or as explosive as some of the other decks, so I'm going to put Pendulum down here in tier 2, well, technically like Rogue tier, B tier. Not bad, but not amazing. Actually, I'll move it down to C tier, to be honest. I think C tier is a fair tier for Pendulums right now. It's not going to be doing as much as some of the other decks, but it may just be able to do some things, especially if your opponents are not siding for it, because, to be honest, in this format, I think your best friend might be that no one's expecting you to play Pendulum. Going on to Drytron, I think this may be a low B tier, high C tier contender. I'm going to put it in the low end of B tier. Look, they did get 2 Benten back, which raises the ceiling of the deck a little bit, because, you know, you DD-kill the first Benten, they've still got another one. But honestly, I don't think that's enough to keep the deck at the power level that it needs to be with Ava banned. So I'm still going with Drytron being at best B tier here. Dinos, I think, look, they didn't take any hits on this list, and Misk is still at 1 for some unfathomable reason. I'm going to put Dinos in the B tier as well, because they can blend well with other engines. We've seen Branded Dino doing well, we've seen Adventure Dino doing well, so I think Dino might actually edge out Drytron a little bit here, particularly with Change of Heart coming back into the format, which Dinos can use the OTK really easily, because, well, it's Dino. OTK is kind of what it does. So, you know, that's my take. Eldritch. Yeah. I'm going to put Eldritch up here in tier 1 S tier with the Despia stuff, mainly because Eldritch took exactly 0 hits on the ban list. No hits to Skill Drain, no hits to any other Floodgates, no hits to Engine. Nothing! I don't know why it took nothing on the ban list. It's been running around everywhere, and I think it should have taken a hit. It didn't, but it should have. So, you know, I think Eldritch is going to be one of the best decks of the format as well. Getting into Tri-Brigade, I think I'm going to put that as a solid A tier deck. I don't know if it'll be able to compete with exactly the power of Despia and Eldritch, but Bird Up or Branded Tri, still really good decks at the moment, and I think could do really well if you're playing them in a competitive scene. Prank Kids! Demoted to D tier. Yay, finally! Can get this piece of shit deck out of my tier list. Without Meow Meow Mew and without Verte, this deck is going to struggle, because it will struggle to make DPE, and, you know, it won't really be able to get that Link 1 off, which was so crucial for its plays. Yay! Prank Kids are finally dead. Please, rest in darkness and never come back. I did not enjoy that format, especially when you have people actually slow playing or, you know, taking a long time to think through the same combo all the time, and then just gaining 1,000 life points and burning you for 500 in game 2, because apparently it took them 5 minutes to do that, even though it was only 3 plays. Anyway, that's it. Sky Striker. I would have had this pre-ban list up in about B tier because of the DPE Sky Striker engine. I'm gonna put that in the high end of C tier right now, because I don't think the power level of Sky Striker right now is high enough to compete. Power of Desires does do quite a bit for this deck. Giving it to 2 is actually very nice, but losing Verte is kind of a blow, because then, while they can still hard make TPE and Sky Striker does have draw engines, I don't think it's going to be as good as it was. Dragon Link, I'm going to put in A tier as well. I don't quite know whether it should go above Tri Brigade or not. I'm kind of on the fence there, but it is a very, very strong contender because it took no hits on this ban list, and Dragon Link is Dragon Link. It does the things. It doesn't play Verte, it does not play Aurodon, it doesn't do anything, it doesn't need it. So, yeah, Dragon Link doing really, really well here. I don't think anything needs to change. It's still a tier A deck. Sword Soul, I'm not entirely sure, but I think 10-year Sword Soul is still going to be a really good deck. I'm going to put it up in A tier here. Actually, I'm going to put it above Tri Brigade. We're going to put Tri Brigade there at the lower end of... Don't judge me. I'm a Tri Brigade player too, but like, I think Sword Soul might just slightly edge it out with a 10-year package, because Sword Soul also doing, you know, really, really well. PK, I'm going to put that in the bottom of B tier, because you've still got Adventurer Phantom Knights. PK also took a hit with Verte being banned, because going into TPE becomes a lot more difficult. But the thing is, Phantom Knights are one of the decks that don't need TPE to play the Scythe Lock. So Phantom Knights still having access to the Scythe Lock is why I think they'll be a decent B tier competitor. I'm going to put them up here in the middle of B tier, maybe even edging out Dinos, you know, I don't know, but I'll give them the respect they deserve. They've seen more representation than Dinos recently, so I'll give them that. PK, still going to be a fierce deck. Then Shaddoll Invoked Dogmatica. I'm just using Winda here to represent it because I don't feel like having 3 sprites, but any combination of Shaddoll Invoked Dogmatica decks I will put up here in B tier as well, mainly because even without Verte, the decks are still really strong. You can combine it with Branded, you can combine it with Despia, any sort of engine there, and Shaddolls do give you a nice graveyard payoff as well. So I'm going to put it in B tier, probably above Drytron, and just about edging Dinos, about the same as Dinos there, to be honest, because I think the deck's still going to be pretty good. Invoked is still a really powerful engine, Shaddoll is still a really powerful engine, what can I say? It's a thing, and Winda is a card. Winda is still at 3, so, you know, if you're playing up against combo decks specifically, you might actually just have a chance if you can get a Winda on the field. Imperm is very live in this format though, so you might see Winda getting negated more often. But I think with Crossout and things being in the meta as well, you know, I think Shaddolls might just be B tier here. I think they'll definitely be better than Sky Strikers. Now here's the thing, there's one deck left that I haven't spoken about, which has been in the top of the meta for a long time now. Well, when I say a long time, I mean the last few months, right? And that's because I couldn't really find an icon for it. And that deck's Based, right? I don't have an icon for Based. Let's just put it out there. There are so many engines and so many different variants of Based. I don't have an icon for it. But Based, I think, would also go C to D tier here, because it lost out on Verte and it lost out on Aurodon, and Red Rose Dragon went to 1. So the payoffs for playing that 60 card deck just took a nosedive, because Verte you can't make out a DPE, Aurodon you can no longer make out those tokens to get you into those cool Synchro players, and Red Rose Dragon to 1 means that being able to recycle those becomes a lot more difficult. So I think Based would also go down to either D tier or high C tier. I'm not sure about that yet, because honestly, the way that Based is built, it's such a collection of engines that it may just end up being a different acronym by the time we get done with this video, and someone will make it playable and it might actually win, you know. But Based in its current form, I think will go down to at least C or D tier. But, you know, I don't think the payoffs of playing that 60 card pile are still there the way that they were. And I think that people will probably cut down on deck size a little bit. I may be wrong, but that's what I think. So, let me know what you think down in the comments. I'd love to get you guys' take on it, because honestly, meta is going to be really interesting, especially since the ban list applies now. So we are going to be in for an interesting few weeks and an interesting week and a half leading up to our own state championship, in which I will be competing. So, you know, here's hoping that my predictions are right. Otherwise, I might be totally screwed at that. So thanks, everyone. See you next time.